Tonight, with hundreds of children still missing from Home Office hotels, we ask, who is responsible?
That is a department that is out of control.
Welcome to Brighton and Hove, a beautiful seaside city on the south coast where, at first glance, you'd imagine little goes wrong.
And yet, not all is well here. Since August 2021, 137 unaccompanied asylum-seeking children have been reported missing from a Home Office-run hotel in Hove. With 76 still missing, there are fears that they're at risk of exploitation by criminal gangs. And the problem of missing children isn't limited to this city.
There have been 440 missing occurrences and 200 children remain missing.
Bella Sankey is a Labour councillor in Brighton and Hove. She's been a vocal critic of the Home Office, calling for accountability for what has gone wrong in the city.
So in July 2021, there was, I think, quite a surprise and shocking announcement from the Home Office that they were going to start placing children who are on their own, who have arrived in the UK unaccompanied, seeking protection and sanctuary, alone in hotels. Here we are, over 18 months later, having now learned that hundreds of children have gone missing, including 136 children missing from Brighton and Hove. That's 5 classrooms of children, and that 76 of those children remain unaccounted for.
You've been critical of Brighton Council about this issue. Where have they gone wrong?
I think that they should have brought a judicial review to stop the Home Office from transferring children and then abandoning them in our city.
One key question at the heart of this issue is, what is life actually like for children living in these hotels?
Last year, the independent Chief Inspector of Borders and Immigration conducted a report into the Home Office-run hotels that are being used to accommodate unaccompanied asylum-seeking children. The report stated that the Home Office is effectively running unregistered children's homes. It also outlined a number of concerns about the welfare of the children living there, stating that staff used dehumanising language when speaking about the children. Children were not provided with any form of education or legal advice, and their meals were served in takeaway boxes. The hotel conditions were also described as shabby, and 2 members of staff living on site had not been DBS checked. I'm on my way to meet Angela Gluck, who chairs a charity that supports unaccompanied asylum-seeking children.
We have real objection to the word hotels because to the general public, a hotel is a cushy place you go to on holiday. It might be very luxurious or it might be slightly luxurious, but it is quite comfortable and you have a clean room and it doesn't have rats in it or cockroaches or stuff crawling up the walls or falling down the walls. And these hotels are not like that.
But the question is, who is really responsible for these children? The Home Office doesn't have legal responsibility for their care, nor do local authorities, placing these children in legal limbo. We asked a member of the Home Affairs Committee, which scrutinises the Home Office, about who should be held accountable.
The problem is, with asylum-seeking children, there is this grey area as to who is actually responsible. Is it the Home Office, particularly if they've come across in some of the explicit schemes from Afghanistan through the Syrian refugees or whatever, or is it the local authority where they're placed? And there's a bit of a mixed message as to who is responsible. It's really important that that is cleared up, because we need to make sure that those children are safe, they're in a secure place, and they've got the appropriate social workers and other safeguarding agencies who are looking out for their welfare. So it's an important consideration that needs to be absolutely clarified.
Brighton and Hove Council called an emergency meeting to discuss the issue of the missing children. I went along to find out what was happening.
These hotels in our city and in others are a totally inadequate way to house, care for and safeguard vulnerable children. The legal situation is that for the period they are in the hotel, these children are in limbo. The Home Office has created a situation where vulnerable children are at risk and no one has statutory responsibility for their care. And I repeat, we have been raising this for 19 months. This is a Home Office hotel and we have opposed it from the start.
Say it loud, say it clear. Refugees are welcome here.
I'm stood outside Brighton Town Hall and we've just left an emergency council meeting. As you can see behind me, the locals have rallied round in a protest and they are angry about what's happening and the fact that these children are still missing. They're calling the Home Office to account.
We continue to demand accountability, transparency and action from the Home Office and also the local MP Peter Kyle and Brighton and Hove City Council. Enough of playing the blame game.
So we are asking for a full investigation to find the whereabouts of the children and to ensure this never happens again.
They shouldn't be taking responsibility for children and housing them in hotels. The Home Office has got no remit to care for children.
But they just need to be treating people with dignity as if they're actual human beings rather than incarcerating them and putting them in detention centres and moving them around and not allowing them to have their asylum claims processed and just getting on with it is what they need to be doing. There's the space, there's the money, they're just not doing it.
After the council meeting, and from what I heard at the protest, I've been thinking more about the issue of who is really responsible for these children. I wanted to talk to Bella Sankey again to find out more about this grey area that everyone's been talking about.
I don't think it is a grey area. Those pieces of legislation clearly say that a local authority is responsible for and has to take responsibility for children in their area that don't have parental support and supervision. And it's an automatic responsibility. It doesn't matter who brought the children there. It doesn't matter what nationality they are. None of that is relevant.
What do you plan or what would you do if you were to get into power?
So the first thing that an incoming Labour administration would do would be to commission expert external legal advice from somebody who is suitably qualified to advise Brighton and Hove City Council on what options we have to get that hotel closed down as soon as possible, and whether that's bringing a judicial review against the Home Office, whether it's seeking to revoke the hotel's licence. Whatever options we have need to be on the table, and that will be one of our earliest acts in power.
We asked the Home Office for a statement, but they refused to provide one. It has now been 18 months since the first reports of children going missing from Home Office hotels. With no one willing to take responsibility, there is fear that this will only repeat itself in the future.